update to the latest OS for Mac OS, which is Mountain Lion as of this recording, and you want to have the latest Xcode downloaded. Xcode is free. Mountain Lion is something like $20 from the Mac App Store, so don't let that hold you back. I'm actually using a 4-year-old laptop, MacBook Pro, to do all this work, so even if you have an older Mac, don't be afraid to update it and download the latest Xcode. So now that you see here, we have the project loaded into Xcode. This is indexing. You don't really have to wait for that to do the next steps. Now, what you have to do is kind of copy 5 folders into the application itself. And you really only have to do this once, and then it sets up the project. So what we need to do is move over BT Docs, and you can use Command or Shift to select. I use Command, Images, Plugins, Sound, and Video. And we're going to drag this over into our project. And it's going to say Copy Items and Destinations folder. Yes, so we'll finish that. And you can do a test build here and see if there's any errors. And what this is doing is it's compiling the code. So the code itself is in raw, text format, and this is going to compile it into binary so that it can be understood and run by the devices. So these yellow things that pop up here are just warnings. We don't have to, they're not showstoppers, so we don't really have to resolve them. You could take a look at them, kind of try to understand it as well, but this is just the way the Xcode is telling you that there are some things that might be an issue, but it's not going to stop the source code from compiling, and it's not going to stop the app from running. So we can pretty much ignore those. And what you want to look out for is the red stuff. If there's a red kind of icon that shows up here as an error, then you now have to kind of resolve that problem before you can go ahead and compile and deploy the application. Now we saw that little kind of thing pop up here saying that the build succeeded. So let's go ahead and try to run this on an iPhone simulator. So we'll go for iPhone 6.0. Hit run, and let's see what happens. And there's our simulator popping up. And there's our app. So again, we didn't really define an image for this, but if we click here, it goes to page 1. All right, so we go back. Again, we can click this just like a phone. This is Simple App, and this is kind of stuff from before, but let's click Simple App again. This is the app that we just installed. Here's the main screen. Page 1 was the name of the button. Click on page 1, and we're actually in page 1. Now what's really cool about the way that BuzzTouch or the app builder works is that you don't have to keep going through the process of downloading and reinstalling this application in Xcode. In fact, you can make changes in the builder itself and it'll be reflected automatically in the devices and simulators that your app is installed in. So let's just go back here to Xcode. Now, if you want to look at your project again, you can go in here, click this button, this little folder, and then this is back to your project. So let's go back into the app builder. We're still here in this screen. And let's change one of the screens around. So let's look at this page 1 screen. So the HTML plugin here actually lets you edit HTML. So let's edit this here, saying we are in page 1. Woohoo. Now, once I hit save over here, it actually saves this little snippet, and this is a JSON format. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and it's kind of a standard way for different internet applications to communicate with one another, as well as mobile applications. So it saves the settings that's going to basically drive this page. So you can think of it as kind of the page itself will reach out, read the settings that are here, and then display it. So now that we've saved it, let's go back to our iOS simulator. Let's go back, let's refresh this here, hit page 1, and there we go. And that's really amazing. So again, I didn't have to download, compile, and rerun the application. All I had to do was go back to my app simulator and go ahead and change in the app simulator, and it's reflected right in the application itself. So this button kind of looks kind of cheesy. Let's go ahead and add an image for that button. So I'm just going to do something really quick. Let's say I want to add an image to that button. Go back to Screens and Actions. Let's go to our main menu. Remember, we have page 1 over here. I want to select that button, and I want to add an image for small devices. Now, this is really important when it comes to the app code builder as well as BuzzTouch, that the images don't necessarily get translated over, and you have to copy them back into your project directory. So let me walk you guys through that a little bit. Now let's just choose an image for our file here, and I have one kind of set up, so let's just select one. And I'm just going to select any old image. Let's just use this guy here. So I'm going to upload this. Now you see that it's in our images directory, and I'm going to select it. And now that you see it's populated here, I'm going to save this. Okay. Now this is saved, and remember I said you don't have to really download and recompile it. But let's go into the simulator and hit refresh. Oh, so where is that image? That's the question. Let's go back to Xcode. Remember, we had this BT images directory that we copied over. There's nothing in there. I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to copy over menu7.png. Copy that into the images directory. Hit finish. Now, because I copied this over, well, let's try it again. Let's hit refresh. Does it work? No, it doesn't work. Uh-oh. Well, what happened here was that since we added a new file to our project, we have to recompile it so that it gets compiled into that binary code that's going to run on this thing. So let me clean this thing up a little bit here, my simulator. I'm going to remove some older apps that I had installed. So it doesn't get confusing. In fact, I'm going to delete all these guys. And actually, once I close that out, it actually stopped my simulator from running because it's connected. But let's go ahead and close this out. Let's close out the iOS simulator. Okay. Go back to our project. Remember, the image is here now. I'm going to go ahead and, just as a test, let's build it. Make sure the build is successful. There we go, build succeeded. And I'm going to run it on the iPhone 6 simulator again. And refresh, and there we go. Now we have an image, and click that, and here we are in the new page 1. So that's it, guys. This is a really quick demonstration of setting up a very simple application with one menu button and one screen, and kind of showing you what it takes to set it up in OS X and Xcode, and just get it running so that you can test your applications out.